Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good morning or afternoon, everybody. I'm running a little late and had a meeting with the brothers with the A team. So I didn't get to finish preparing for the video. So inshallah, I'm going to try to make this just an hour, this series, inshallah, so that, excuse me, so that inshallah, this stuff doesn't get drug out, because I know sometimes the videos get long and people um, lose sight of what inshallah ta'ala what we're trying to say. Give me 1 second. Okay, inshallah. Give me just a second. Let me finish. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inna alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Everybody, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for tuning in to Black Muslim Media, where inshallah ta'ala we will give African American and Black people, and you can throw minorities in there as well. Where we're giving a voice, inshallah, where we're giving a voice, where you're hearing it from us. A lot of times we have people that are narrating our story for us. Excuse me. So, alhamdulillah, support Black Muslim media, support African American people standing up on their own, speaking out for their own selves, and controlling our own narrative. Alhamdulillah. So we're in so many different places to go with all of this. Shoot me a thumbs. Shoot me a thumbs if y'all can hear me. Okay, I was doing some studying and I had my what you call it up. I got my Bluetooth and stuff hooked up, so I don't know if it is affecting my microphone or not. Y'all give me a thumbs up or yes. Let me know yes in the chat if y'all can hear me. Okay, inshallah. Okay, they say we can hear. Hey, so hey, Amir Khalil, what you doing on here, man? Alhamdulillah, Imam Khalil from Masjid Uthman Danfodio, Southwest Philly, not South Philly, Southwest Philly. Alhamdulillah. If you want some Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah feeding, no, go upstairs, no. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Southwest Philly. Alhamdulillah. If you want Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah feeding, if you only want to see, I don't know if any other masajid. I know they got the one brothers, Imam Amin and them have been working, and they put a masjid. I think it's called Masjid Sha'ira. That's in South Philly. I don't know. I can't remember exactly where, but those two masajid in Philly, in the heart of it all. Go there if y'all want to learn Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. Okay, so we're gonna jump in. So this series, let me try to introduce this series. I'm literally gonna try to be an hour because this is the same time as this is running to the time for Dhuhr. I'm gonna try to be brief as I possibly can. I started this series like 5 years ago, and got sidetracked. I got discouraged, doubting myself or whatever the case may be for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, I was sitting back waiting for somebody to save me and save the people in my community. So this effort, alhamdulillah, is one that is in the way of Black people, African American people standing up for their own selves, taking the lead with the issues in our own community. Okay, that's what this initiative is. That's why I call it Hadiths from the Hood. Hold up. I forgot to do. I always forget to do this. I always start the video and it still say starting in a few, and we already done started. Okay. So that's what this is. I'm gonna touch on this just real brief. A lot of people have said, they question they like putting black into the wording of Islamic teachings, or putting African American into the wording of Islamic teachings that are supposed to be, quote unquote, supposed to be Quran and Sunnah. Let me close this window so I can get this glare out. Excuse me one second. That glare looks bad. Okay, inshallah is better. Yeah, I took that glare away. In the way of to talk to basically explain that all this effort is, please don't nobody think that this is some Nation of Islam or Word of Muhammad. This ain't none of that. This is definitely pure Quran and Sunnah. Okay, this is pure Quran and Sunnah. So a lot, we have rigid criteria for the approach of Quran and Sunnah, which does not cancel out other aspects that could apply to the rigidity of the curriculum of the Quran and Sunnah. For example, we know that the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, the very first thing that he did was go to his family, and then after he went to his family, he went to his community. So a lot of people they overlook that. They overlook that. We don't really spend a lot of time reflecting on that. And this is a very, very, very pertinent example in the Quran and in the Sunnah. Okay, that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got the hidayah, he got the guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He gave it to his family first, and then he gave it to his community by order. Okay, so with that being said, that's the obligation that all of us must do. There's a hadith from the Prophet ﷺ, and it's Sahih, and I'm paraphrasing. He basically said that every man is an imam. And I'm paraphrasing. At the best, he's the imam, he's the khalifa, he's the amir, the wazir, whatever you want to call it, the sharif, the high public official at best. In between that, which is really above the public official, unless that person be both, he would be the imam of a particular community, or he would be the mufti, the top imam of an entire city, um, or at least. So we got the top, the middle, and the bottom, and at least he is an imam in his own household. So a man is a leader, and we have been, charged with leadership. So this hadith also provides us evidence that these things are fard. They're mandatory. They must be done. Absolutely, positively, this stuff must be done. So this is what this initiative is. Yes, it's an African American agenda. I am African American, if you can't tell. I apologize to whoever that offends that I'm African American. I apologize for that, but you got to take that up with Allah when on the day of Qiyamah. That's not my issue. that you have a problem with me being African American. It's not my problem whatsoever. So I live. I mean, we all know what the situation is in. We all know what the situation is in the Black community. We were slaves, and now we're the descendants of slaves. Okay, I'm gonna save y'all the history lessons. If y'all want some history lessons, I got some videos for some history lessons that I can send you that I've done. The brothers in the 18, they can get you together, especially Imam Abu Muhammad. That is our historian. He can put you all the way together when it comes to the history. Um, so we know that that's the situation. Um, One thing that is important to mention is we've been overlooked and failed by our Muslim brothers and sisters at large. We've been overlooked at best, and at worst, we have been failed by our Muslim brothers and sisters who are not African American. Yes, there's been some people who have helped here and there, but just like slavery was a phenomenon, we're also going to need a phenomenon to free us from the grips of slavery. It's going to take that equal amount of effort. And that has not happened in history since we had become slaves. So this initiative is focused on this pseudo nation. Uh, we are a people of some sort. That's why the topic of this particular show is the absence of identity. Um, we are a people. We just don't know who. Everybody has a say about who we are, what we are, and where we come from. Um, I have my take on it, and that's what I'm gonna share with you all. And this is for critique. Um, I want to get to the bottom of who and what we are. So since we know that we were slaves and we were descendants of slaves, by the will of Allah, this is Allah made it. The covenant of Allah. Allah made this happen. So now we have a challenge in front of us to to deal with it, and we have to deal with it on our own. History has proven that nobody's coming to save the Black community. Nobody is coming to save the Black community. Nobody is. People come and visit the Black community, and they chop it up for a little while, and then they go ahead on about the business that pays them. All due respect. I love all of my brothers and sisters. I love everybody who says Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I love everybody. I love anybody who says that. I love it. Okay, I'm not racist. I got a couple white friends, but the fact of the matter is, because of slavery and because of systemic racism that is still at play, Black people have been forced to only live in certain locales in every city in America. I can't speak for Jamaica. I cannot speak for Haiti. I cannot speak for Ghana. I'm not any of that. I am a Black descendant of slaves in America. And we all know the vast majority of Black people in this country live in lesser or lower socioeconomic environments. Okay, this is a well-known fact, and it's because of systemic racism that is still at play. With that being said, the reason why Black people / African Americans must stand up for themselves is because this is the nasty thing that don't nobody want to talk about, don't nobody want to deal with. There is no money in the Black cause and in the Black struggle. I'm not accusing all of my imams and all of my non-Black Muslim brothers and sisters. I'm not accusing them. I'm just saying this is what the situation is. When you have an Egyptian imam and he spent 15 years learning the deen, and now he's established as a great imam, his 15 years that he used to study the deen, alhamdulillah, is his time that was spent that people over here spend trying to be a doctor or an engineer. When he's done with school, he got to eat. He has to make money. So naturally, he has to go and work in a community that can afford to pay him. Since black people live in these poor areas and these poor neighborhoods, we can't afford to pay the 15-year graduate of Al Azhar. We can't afford it. I would hope that the Muslim world would have been like the time of the Sahaba and come together and was like, let's save our black brothers and sisters that are in America, and we all gonna come together and we're going to afford an imam for them and community and African American Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah community and imam for 10 years. They got the money. And if somebody come up with the idea, I want my royalties. They come together with whatever money, however money. Let's say the going rate is $50,000, and if in 10 years, what is that? $5 million. They raise $5 million. They pay the imam. They give it to him in stipends, $50,000 a year for 10 years. Done. But that's not the case, and that's wishful thinking. So you got, not so smart people like myself making these kinds of videos and saying words like Black and African American. Now that we're done with that, let's get started with the video. Identity. I think the number one cause to the problem in the Black community is identity, that we don't have one. This is a struggle that I went through, being in the streets, coming from the streets, knowing nothing but the streets and a little bit of Christianity. That was it. That's kind of what we see. That's what we see on a daily basis. This is who and what all of our family and friends. This is the narrative of all of our family and friends. We don't know our identity. So we get caught and stuck in every type of fad and phase that Shaitan can come up with in every single generation. Every generation of Black folks done had some type of, dare I say, demonic fad that swept us up. And because we don't have an identity to serve, we become victim to it. The moment I stopped being a victim to the absence of an identity was when I became Muslim. Because now my life had a meaning and a purpose. So I'm sitting in a prison cell. I didn't try everything that America tells Black people that they should do. I was hard on in church at one point in time. I was hard on in gangbanging at one point in time. I was hard on in selling drugs at one point in time. I was hard on in college and with school at one point in time. I was hard on with being a bootstrapper at one point in time, and I worked my butt off to get nothing. None of that stuff was working. So this is how I easily fell into to the streets and to a life of crime. It's because we haven't realized that the system has been rigged against us, and then they turn around and tell us that, hey, you can be whatever you want to be, and that's technically not true. Not to say that there aren't any financially successful African Americans in America. We obviously know that that's not true. I'm talking about the grand scheme. We do not have a successful African American community in America today. I don't care if you go to Prince George County, that is not a successful African American community. That is a successful African American community with an identity crisis. That's what we call the Black bourgeoisie. When black people, trade quote unquote they blackness and take on quote unquote whiteness. And then that becomes the standard. And then, they prosper, quote unquote, or they have prospered because of this trading of the mentality, quote unquote. Okay. So when you begin to consider everything European to be the standard quo, the standard criteria in life, this is when you have failed. And we know this. When they flash these people in front of us and reality TV, what are they doing? They're a bunch of rich black people who are emulating rich white people. Fact of the matter. Look at Atlanta Housewives. All of them are, highly successful black people, and all of them are mimicking successful white people. All of their bags is Dooney and Burke, Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior. All of the cars that they drive are fancy European cars. Nene Leakes has a Rolls Royce. That's not a black car. They're driving Teslas. They're driving Benzes. They have a what do they call it? A racial inferiority complex. That's what the psychological term for that is. So even if you go, bringing that point around, even if you go to Prince George County, that's still not successful because none of that stuff is quote unquote reflective of blackness or black people. That's not who we are. That's who affluent white people are. That's not who black people are. We haven't reached that level yet in that point in history where there is an upper black echelon. We haven't reached that yet. Not yet. We have black people who have reached the upper echelon of this society, of this American white society. We have people who have reached that level, and they are very few. Very, very, very few. Almost you can't even, so insignificant you can't even count it. Okay. But we don't have a black upper echelon. Another conversation for another day. So we when I was I was at the other end of the spectrum. I was the complete opposite of the rich black bourgeoisie. I was, the hood ratchet. So, that's the extremes. Everybody in between is just completely confused. So once I was frustrated and seeing that nothing that I was doing was working, I became a criminal. And the only way that was possible is because I didn't have an identity. So when I was in prison and I'm trying to find myself, as y'all say, which is cool because you must have an identity. You must find yourself. Alhamdulillah. That's how I became a Muslim. I went through a fad where I was like, I'm a Christian. I was raised Christian. I was raised in the church. So I'm a Christian. And I read the Bible several times before becoming a Muslim. And I'm going to be careful when I say this because I don't want to offend any of my political connects. But everybody claims that they real and they 100 and they keep it a buck. So I'm going to keep it a buck. Christianity does not provide guidance for what we're going through as Black people. It just doesn't. You cannot go in the Bible and find guidance to stop to ending the high murder rate that we have in the Black community. You cannot go in the Bible and find out how to get people off of drugs, which is a big problem in the Black community. You cannot go to the Bible and find solutions the Bible or Christianity, and find solutions to why there's such a huge black-white wealth gap, and this is contributing to mass incarceration. You cannot, and the evidence is reality. We've been black people, and as a whole, have been Christian the entire time since the inception of this country, minus the people who were Muslim. We all know that there were Muslims here who were. We know that there were Muslims. I mean, slaves that were Muslims. We know that. So, sorry, y'all, I had to get the kids together. Um, 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 Trying to remember my point. Yeah, so we can't. So when I was trying to find myself, and I went to the Bible and I went to Christianity, I wasn't finding solutions to my problems. I wasn't finding, and I'm the realist. I like to say that. I can take it. I can take it harder than I can give it. So if the solution was there, if the solution was there and I didn't like the solution, I'm the type person that I would still recognize that there is a solution, and I just have to, live up to the standard. But never found any solutions ever. In Islam, I did, and I'm trying to live up to the solutions. But the evidence that that is true is that since the inception of this country, black people have been Christian. And as we progress, black people, the conditions of black people get worse. And all they do is all of that is done in the church is to tell you, pray it away. Pray, just close your eyes and pray and act like it's not happening. I'm gonna save you 20 years of going to church. And that's just being real. That's just being real. Because the stuff that is affecting the black community outside of black Christianity has spilled over and flowed over and into black churches and black community. So there is no defense, there is no guidance for the people that are in the black church first and foremost, and let alone for them to lead the people at large. Hasn't happened. Hasn't happened. None whatsoever. So I came to that realization very early, and I was okay with that. And alhamdulillah, Allah put some Muslims, like Allah literally like handpicked and put Muslims right in front of my face and challenged me that way, and challenged my mind and challenged my sincerity. I could have easily been like what most people say. I've never seen a Muslim. I've seen them, but I didn't know who they were. But I was never acquainted with any Muslims. I didn't know where any of the masajid were in my city. Where I'm from, they ain't like it ain't like Philly where you got so many different masajid and different, on different blocks and different neighborhoods. We got churches down here. As many masajid are in Philly, we got like twice as many churches in Cincinnati. And one Cincinnati hood and on the east side in Avondale, the last time I checked, it was 46 churches alone in Avondale. And we could argue that Avondale has top 2 or 3 highest crime rates, not only in the city, but in the country. That's Avondale, Cincinnati is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the whole entire world. It's really bad. Like people get shot and killed just driving down Redden Road. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Guys, gangbangers and drug dealers on one side of Redden Road, and drug dealers and gangbangers on the other side of Redden Road shooting at each other across the street, and traffic is going by, and they shooting the cars, and they shooting at each other. They shooting the houses and the buildings. They just shooting. It's literally Baghdad. It's literally Baghdad. This is what Avondale looks like. There are 46 churches in that community alone. And the only thing that we really see is when somebody's dead, you know, the popular pastor in that neighborhood and in that area shows up where the crime scene was, say a few words to the news, and then they go back inside of the church building. So, long story short, identity. I came across a couple of verses in the Holy Quran, one of which I'm going to read to you all. And this really just lit me up and it struck me. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قال الله تعالى في كتاب المجيد وجاهدوا في الله حق جهاده هو اجتباكم وما جعلكم عليكم وما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج ملة أبيكم إبراهيم هو سماكم المسلمين من قبل وفي هذا لكون الرسول شهيدا عليكم وتكونوا شهداء على الناس. Okay, I'll just stop right there. Sorry, I read too far. So that verse, one of those that verse right there, and another few verses from the Holy Quran, kind of like saved my life and gave me my identity. The highlight of that ayah, and I want to try to go through it. I'm gonna speak not vaguely, but I'm gonna speak generally because I'm not a an official Quran commentator. I'm a student of the official Quran commentators, and I'm going to relay to you in context what the official commentary of these. And I got it right here, so you know all of my Wahhabi friends that like to troll me. I keep it right here to guide me because they see it coming out of my mouth and they're like, oh. You know, so I got it right here to guide me to make sure that I don't speak out of context because I'm not what they call a mufassir, official Quranic commentator, but you know, I am a student of knowledge and I'm gonna convey what I learned to you. In that verse, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he told us, وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِهِ, and strive for the sake of Allah in the most sincere manner. This is in general. This is a general translation. So Allah, God, asked us to strive in the way of Allah in the most sincere manner. That right there, just that fragment of that verse, it jumps off the page to me. Mind you, I'm a person with no identity, drug dealer, gangbanger, the whole nine. When you read that, this is the beauty of divine revelation. When you read that, those words, that the way that sentence was put together, the words that were chose in that sentence structure, all of that is lighting you up. All of that is striking you. If you are sincere, all of that, this is the transformation that is happening. This is play-by-play transformation that is happening. So I'm in a prison jail cell. I'm not at the top of the world, business doing good, family fed. I'm in a jail cell, you know, with nothing, with all hope behind me. I have no hope. I have zero hope, none whatsoever. The hope that I had was that I die a believer if God existed. This is what I was thinking, what I was believing, and our people, our community, this is their mentality. Especially when you're going through a hard time like being in prison. So I had nothing to gain. The only thing that I had to gain was a spiritual awakening. That's the only thing that I had to gain. So with that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, and strive in the way of God, Allah, in the most sincere way. So that means whatever you have to do to make sure that you are practicing that you are in sincere practice of what your Lord sent you, your Lord's revelation. Whatever you have to do, you must do it. So this went straight to the heart. That goes straight to the heart. That don't go nowhere else. It goes to the heart first, and then it goes everywhere else. Then it goes here. Then it goes to your arms and everywhere, all your other limbs that you use to make your life comfortable. It goes straight to the heart. That Allah challenged you. God challenged you and said, strive for Allah's sake. Only strive for Allah's sake. Don't strive for the sake of the pastor. Don't strive for the sake of your mom, your dad. Don't strive for nobody else. Strive only for the Most High. Only for the Most High, the creator of the universe. That is what's jumping out off of this page while I'm reading it, okay? While I'm trying to find myself. We're going to come around to that point. So Allah said that, okay? And that struck me. And then next, what Allah said, who wajatabakum wa ma ja'ala alaykum fit dini min haraj. And he did not put on you any hardship in this religion, in the religion of Islam. The religion of Islam, the deen of Islam, the way of Islam, the lifestyle of Islam, however people want to put it. Because I know the 5%er and atheists and stuff, they say, oh, well, that's the problem, religion. Yeah, well, we don't really translate deen as religion. One of the best translations of deen, the word deen, that was selected by Allah, by God in this book, the Holy Quran, one of the best translations that I've seen and that I kind of roll with and I stick to is that the word deen can mean your account, like a bank account. Okay, this is how beautiful and how poetic the words of Allah, alayhi salatu, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the words of Allah are. This is divine revelation grabbing you and shaking you and smacking you across the head, say, hey, God exists, do what I'm asking you to do. Deen, your account. What account is God, Allah, talking about in this word, in this verse with that word? What account? God, what are you talking about? The account is the day of judgment, your reckoning. Everything that you do in this life is going in an account in the next life. Just like whatever you go and make in your job, whatever you can save and go to put to use in your bank account in this life, that's what deen is. So y'all can play with the word and say, hey, it's religion and religion is man-made. I know the games that people play. I've been there, done that with them. Them was the first people I was crushing in debate before the Wahhabis. So deen isn't what y'all think it is when it says religion, and religion is man-made and Muhammad was the one. No, it's not none of that. Deen is your account. Whatever you do in this life, it goes to an account in the next life. And when you get to the next life, you're going to go and check that account, and that's going to be there. So Allah said he did not make this deen. He didn't make your way of life, according to him, hard. He didn't put anything hard in it. It's easy for us to practice. It is easy for us to do. It costs $0. The only thing you got to pay is attention. That's it. You don't have to do nothing else. You have to give yourself to Allah. That's the first thing that he said. Give yourself to Allah. Strive to Allah. Strive for Allah sincerely. Boom. You did that. Check number one. You gave yourself to Allah. That's the first check. Then Allah gives us reassurance. He gives us reassurance that you make the right decision. This ain't gonna be hard for you. It ain't gonna be hard on you. What's the example? We like to what do you call it? We get into a bad situation when we ain't got no money, especially black folks. We get into a situation, it gets bad for us. We get to compromising all type of moral standards when we ain't got no money. So when you're in that type of situation, we can refer to what Allah said right here. He haven't made this hard. It's not hard for a believer, for a Muslim believer. It's not hard because I know that I ain't gonna be here that long. The money that I have to worry about is my spiritual currency, not my physical currency. So if I miss a meal or two, or I lose a job or three, or lose a certain place, I lose my house, whatever, I get tested with some worldly hardship, cool, whatever. As long as I'm still holding tight to my practice, my Islam, I know that I'm good. That's my mentality. I know that I'm good. So that's why Allah said he didn't put nothing hard because he made the criteria. And the criteria is only to please him. The criteria is to not please everybody around us with a big, nice house, big, expensive car, and all foreign European clothes. That's not the criteria. So that's what he means when he says that he didn't put any hardship. The actual criteria of life is easy. It's easy. The clothes I got on a prayer robe. This costs like $20. This little cap, everybody like wearing ball caps. I like wearing ball caps or whatever. But you want to do something, you want to get all the little blessings that you possibly can. This costs like $2. That's not hard to get. And on top of that, I'm getting reward with my Lord because I'm dressing and being the way that he likes. That's not hard. That's why Allah said he didn't put any type of harm or hardship in this way. Okay, let's go further. And then Allah gives us even more reassurance. He said, "This is the millata abikum Ibrahim. This is the way of your father Ibrahim." Everybody, every religion got Ibrahim alayhi salam's name in their mouth. But Allah is reassuring you. Ibrahim he's the Jay-Z of religion. Okay. He's the Tupac of religion. Everybody that came after Sayyid Ibrahim alayhi salam, Ibrahim al-Khalil alayhi salam, everybody that came after him, they claiming him. And somehow, some way, just because of how great Ibrahim's legacy was and is, Allah's given us even more reassurance. And this was big for me. This was big for me because I was raised Christian. They just like how they make the Muslim kids memorize the Quran, the Christians made us memorize songs. Father Abraham had many sons, and many sons had Father Abraham. That's as far as I got at Sunday school. I don't know the rest. I don't know the rest. Maybe one of my cousins can get on and recite it for you with perfect tajweed. I don't remember, but everybody loves say Ibrahim al Khalil, right? So Allah is giving you rest at heart. Like you still on the way of Ibrahim. You straight. When you have chosen this as your identity and your way, you are on a refined millah, the way, the lifestyle of Ibrahim al-Khalil alayhi salam. Oh, and for the non-Muslim people who don't know who Ibrahim is, he's Abraham. Ibrahim in Arabic is Abraham. So that's another point right there. And last, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Huwa sammakumul muslimin min qablu wa fi hadha likuna rasulu shahidan alaykum wa takunu shuhada'a ala nas. The last part is not really important to my point, but this is the highlight right here. Huwa sammakumul muslimin min qabl. Okay, Allah said he capped off his reassurance that this is the right way. This is the right what identity. This is the right way. This is the right identity. What is the identity? There's the adhan. So we're going to end this real quick. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, He named you Muslim just like He did before. What did He mean when He said just like He did before? This ain't nothing new. Adam was a Muslim. Noah was a Muslim. Ibrahim was a Muslim. Jesus was a Muslim. Everybody who was guided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was a Muslim, because they all submitted to the will of God, the Most High God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the point. Let me give it just a few more minutes to close it so we can go pray. So in the way of identity, verses like this stuck out to me, and it grabbed me out of where I was at and put me on this. It was like, this is what will give me peace in my life. Allah Himself gave us an identity. I don't have to, I can identify with a tribe, with a nation, with a community, with a country, with a continent. I can do that. But in the grand scheme of things, it's really insignificant. Unless that tribe, country, or continent is reminiscent of Islam. Unless it's reminiscent of Islam, it's futile. It's futile. And we have a problem with that nowadays. We have a huge problem. We used to have what we call a khilafah, or a Muslim presidency, where Islam, you being a Muslim, was your passport. That was all that you needed to get into the lands, the Baladul Muslims, Baladul Islamiyya. That was the only thing that you needed to go from country to country, continent to continent. You had all the different regions up under this one banner, and Islam is so real that it allowed the people to keep, their own particular culture. You had the people of Sham, they had a different culture of the people of Arab. You had the African Muslims, they had their own culture, and Islam fit them. Islam allowed them to keep that. You had the people in the Khurasan, which is nowadays modern day Iran, and parts of Southeast Asia, Southwest Asia, and they all kept their, geographical identity, but they still all practiced Islam. They all still practiced Islam, and they practiced Islam the way they saw fit in their geographical location. Islam in Pakistan does not look like Islam is, I was going to say Saudi Arabia, but not much Islam in Saudi Arabia. Islam in Pakistan does not look like Islam in North Africa. Islam in North Africa does not look like Islam in West Africa, and Central and Eastern Africa and Southern Africa. Islam in Africa does not look like Islam in Europe, etc., etc. But they all have a true identity, and that is that they are Muslim. They are human beings that have accepted to, they are people, human beings who have accepted Islam, accepted the submission to the will of God as their way of life. They allow God and God's messenger to guide them. That is an identity. And this is what we need in the Black community. We need this. We don't need more of the other stuff. More, or what they say, more of the same. We don't need more of that. We need to recognize who we really are. Who are we really? We are Muslims. How could you think that you are going to get salvation if you, as an individual human being, has not submitted their will to God? What other way can you get into heaven? What other way can you have peace in this life? There can be no peace in this life if you leave it into the hands of a man, if you leave it into the hands of men. It should be in the hands of the holy men, those individuals that have a keen sense of their Islam. Because they know, going back to that word deen, account, they know that they have to go to that spiritual bank. They have to go to that spirit, what's the word? That metaphysical bank. They know that they on their way to that metaphysical bank. And when they show up at that metaphysical bank, they want to take something out of that metaphysical bank. This is what deen means in Islam. This is what religion or way of life means in Islam. When we go to that next life, we're going to go to that metaphysical bank that is called the Qiyamah, the day of judgment, and we need to withdraw our good deeds because that's going to be the currency in the next life. So inshallah, I'm going to stop here. We're going to have to do a part 2 of this same talk because I didn't get through my notes. Inshallah. So the same time next Saturday, inshallah ta'ala. I don't see any comments, so I don't have to do that thing. Inshallah ta'ala, we'll pick up from where we stopped on this video, inshallah. If like this, share this, and subscribe to the YouTube, the Black Sunnah. If y'all haven't already, support the Black Muslim media, and definitely share it. Get the word out. Create the reverberation. Let's create a Sunni Muslim reverberation, and if not, let's create a Black Sunni Muslim reverberation in the cipher, in the what you call it, the technological cipher. Let's get these kinds of conversations and these kinds of talks. Let's get these, and let's get this out there. Let's get this stuff out there, and create a divine narrative, if you will. Let's get these kind of talks out. Let's support these types of efforts. We're not getting paid only from Allah with these efforts. So yeah, support me and get some sadaqah jariyah, if nothing else. Alhamdulillah. If I said anything bad, it does not belong to Allah and His Messenger, nor Islam, nor the illustrious, our illustrious imams. I love y'all all for the sake of Allah. Inshallah, we'll be to y'all. Stay tuned in to the channels. We have a lot of good things working. Tomorrow we have fiqh. We have Islamic fiqh tomorrow at I keep forgetting the times. We're gonna post it though. We're gonna post it in the True Aqidah of the Salaf group and in the group of the Sunnah for Us, and then probably on my page for my friends that see this. If nothing else, y'all share this so that your non-Muslim friends and family can have some Islamic work to Islamic videos that we can learn from and relate to. That's what the Hadiths for the Hood. That's what this is about. This is the dawah to our non-Muslim relatives. And I know all the time we can't have these conversations. We can't get this far in conversation with our non-Muslim family and friends. I know I can't. And inshallah, my family and friends will see this video, and what I don't have the opportunity to say to them, they will see this video and inshallah be inspired to come the straight and narrow path to God, Allah, the only one straight and narrow path to God, Allah. I love y'all for the sake of Allah. We're gone. Akuli kala hadha wa astaghfirullah. La ilaha illallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.